Being a regular viewer of RPM TV, you know that we get to drive some fantastic performance machines. From the modest but potent Alfa Romeo 4C, to the businesslike but brutal M3, to the marvelous Lamborghini Huracan. And all those cars have things in common. They have the latest design, they're crammed with the best technology, and they are first and foremost road cars. Well, today at a very wet UK test track, we've got something a little different. This is a Caterham Super 7, and although it has indicators and windscreen wipers and something that pretends to be a cabin ventilation system, it's not your average road car. That's because it's a track day special, something that should only be in traffic on its way to the circuit. No doubt you've heard of this car before, because it's not exactly new. In fact, we're driving a model from the mid-90s, and it hasn't exactly evolved since that first version. Although it's best experienced on a racetrack, sadly our track time was ruined thanks to bad weather and a race car that dumped oil on the surface, so we were forced to head out into the countryside. The look of the Caterham 7 has changed, well, hardly at all in the 30-odd years that it's been around. It's basically a tubular steel chassis covered with a few body panels. So few, in fact, that our test car doesn't even have a roof. But the look tells you a lot about what the drive should be like. And that drive today is going to be damp. Which didn't fill me with much joy because I hate the cold as it is, and now I'd have to hope like hell that the heavens didn't suddenly open up as well and rain on my unprotected pip. It is a very simple design, this. 2 seats in a basic cabin behind a very long bonnet, a wheel at each corner, a roll hoop for protection, and a classic green paint job with yellow stripes. However, if you're in the market for a convertible, this is not it. The Caterham Super 7 is built for one purpose only, and it sure as hell isn't open-top motoring. The suspension setup means that even at low speed, you feel every single crease and bump in the road. You smell nothing but petrol fumes, and because of these minimal mud guards, it has no problem at all kicking sand and stone onto your clothes, into your face, and then there's the passing traffic. Whoa. Looking at the Super 7, you realize it's small, but when you're traveling, even at modest speed, you feel very exposed and not a little bit vulnerable to anything bigger than a Suzuki Alto. As far as comfort and a relaxed ride goes, this was about the worst thing I'd experienced. I mentioned earlier that we drive a lot of high-tech, up-to-date cars, but the Caterham really is quite old school. It's got a naturally aspirated 1.6-litre 4-cylinder motor. It puts out 82 kilowatts and 132 newton meters, but it only weighs 510 kilograms. So with a bit of simple maths, you realize that it's got a power-to-weight ratio of about 160 kilowatt per ton, and that's not too shabby. And when you start to build a bit of confidence, exploring the full potential of that engine becomes quite a lot of fun. It has enough power to make it feel very eager, and the short throw of the 5-speed manual controls a very well-sorted gearbox. You can hear the carb sucking in air through the K&N filters, and all that noise draws you in and starts to make you forget about the practical downsides of this car. When you look at the spec sheet of a Caterham 7, it really doesn't give you much to point to and be impressed by. It doesn't even give you ABS, it doesn't give you aircon, it doesn't give you electric windows, I suppose because it doesn't even have doors. But it does give you something that not many cars these days will give you, and that is a driving lesson. The original Caterham 7 was designed in a time when ABS and traction control were unheard of, when the definition of a driver assistance system was someone that held your bottle of Coca-Cola because cup holders hadn't been invented either. That philosophy remains and includes things like unassisted steering and a live rear axle, but given the right space, it is a superb machine. Compared to just about every other 4-cylinder car on the market, the Caterham Super 7 falls a little bit short. It's not well equipped, it's not comfortable, it's not even what you'd call particularly good looking. But probably because it is so simple, it offers a really pure driving experience, and it is immense fun. And I completely understand why it has the cult following that it does. A 1600 naturally aspirated motor normally wouldn't provide too much fun, but when it's bolted to a car that weighs only 500 kilograms, the results are superb. The Caterham Super 7 is an impractical car with a very basic interior and a ride setup unsuitable for daily use. But give it space and drive it confidently, and it's brilliant.